Welcome back to Good Knit Kisses. I'm your host Kristen, and today we are going to work on the dewdrop shawl. We're going to get right into this, show you how to bind off. Now that we've done this, let's say we've done our 100 rows, and you will be back on the left over here. We are going to do the loose Slipknot method, and this one right here is just going to require a little more dexterity. We're going to wrap between these two pegs, put this working yarn up on top, take our, I'm going to reposition the camera, hold on. So as I was saying, you're going to need a little more dexterity to do this, and you'll understand why in a minute, but make sure that you have at least about 9.5 yards left. Basically, you need 3.5 times the length of your shawl. Your shawl is supposed to be 60 inches. So what's going to happen is you're actually going to be tripling up the amount of yarn that goes all the way down the length of here as we bind off. So you're going to take your working strand and put it between these two pegs, put it on top of this first peg, go from the bottom underneath the loop on the peg, pull down and make a loop, and we're going to make a little slip knot. Pull through the working strand, grab that working strand, pull it, keep sliding it through until it gets snug. Okay, and it's a little bit loose because this is just a sample and I don't have much to go on here. And I did add some more rows that you didn't see off camera so I could be able to pull this tighter. So now we're going to go to the next peg and do the same thing. So grab one of these loops and pull down through the loop that's on the peg with your working strand, put it between this new loop, and then pull that taut. And it doesn't have to be super tight, but it does need to be tight enough where it's not completely loose here. So we're going to do the same on the third peg. The tricky part is going to be every time you have these big holding pegs, we are going to go around the holding pegs. So here's the trick. Go ahead and push these down so you can see clearly what you're doing. Take these two strands. We're going to go around the holding peg all the way around and down and make your loop larger if you need to. Okay, and now we're going to do what we did before. Going to go under that loop, pull on this working loop. Okay, so now we have this loop. Now, I'm going to show you what not to do first. Don't go across this area here. This needs to be open. Leave that open. We're going to around this peg. Now, I'm going to teach you a little trick so that you can tell which one we're going to have to mess with in a minute. I'm going to go around this way. The temptation is to go here, and you can, but I want you to go around on this side. Okay, so go around here and then come down. Okay, if you don't do this, if you go across, then you're making a tight bind off, and this is not going to lay correctly. So now we're going to do what we did before, and we're going to pull through this working strand through the working loop. Now, I'm pulling, and I'm actually pulling a little bit tight. Do you see how it's going really slow? It's not because I'm trying to go slow, it's because it's very tight because of all these knots. So we're going to go and see how it's on this side. It's really hard to see with this color, but when all these are the same color anyway, it doesn't matter, you can't see it. So this top one that was right here, we're going to go and pull on it, okay? And we're going to pull this way towards the back, and it gives us enough room to start pulling here, and now we can get it tight over here. See, that's why I was meaning dexterity. You really need two hands for this if you can, or you need a helper. Okay, so pull this down, and I say that because I do have some people who watch who have issues with that. So now that we've got that loop is all tightened, just like we had tightened those, these three are going to go fast. We're going to do what we did before. Pull this down, pull the slip knot through, get that taut, and I'm just making this loop a little smaller. Do the same thing over here. Sorry, I'm trying to see around a camera here on the other side. Okay, pull that through. All right, now we got to do it again. So we're going around this working peg, holding peg, whatever you want to call it. Going to go through this middle part here, around the working peg, and pull on this loop to make it big enough to go around all this. Okay, so now that we're down here, before you do anything else, go ahead, pull this working strand through the stitch that's on the peg, making your loop. Go around the holding peg again, and down, and then we're going to do our little slip knot. Okay, now it's too tight, so we're going to pull on this one and pull it towards this peg in the back to give some slack. And as you're doing it, you're pulling on this working loop here and then tightening it up. And then you can make it smaller if you need. And now we're going to move on to this peg here. Alright. Okay, we're on the last one. Same thing, nothing's changed. We're going to go around the holding peg with this big giant working loop. Go ahead and bind this off, basically. Get that through there. And to complete the bind off process, you have to put this working strand all the way around and do your loop and then tighten it up. Again, pull on this piece here to give it slack. And now that is nice and taut. We're almost done. So this bind off is the most difficult part in the pattern. That's it. The whole pattern is really very simple. If you have the time, you can sit and do this in a day. It's a very simple pattern. No purls, no wrapping the pegs, except for on this last part here. Okay, so we've got this last peg. We pull through, take your working strand one more time and pull it through again. So it's like you're doing this last peg twice, but now we can just take this loop that we just made and clip it. Okay, and then you just pull your working strand out. That's all gone. Oops. And now it's safe to pull these off. Don't be scared. La la la, it is off the loom. Let's pull it off. Okay, so this is my sample, and like I said, I did have, I had added some stitches to it, and in this sample, it looks kind of funny, but I'm gonna start pulling it out and showing you. So the drop stitches are all gonna look like this. So when you start pulling it out, now this is kinked up just from sitting there with the tension just now, but it will end up laying flat. You can lightly spray to block it, but it's not really necessary in this yarn. I didn't find it with my other yarn. I'll show you this here in a second. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now you see that these knit ridges are here. I actually like to wear it on the back, so you see the back purl side. I'm going to move my camera and I'm going to show you the shawl. Here is my shawl. It's all bunched up. Now this is if I wanted to wear it as a scarf, but when you unfold it, you see that it has these ridges on it. So you can wear it this way, or you can flip it over. Has a nice design. Thanks for tuning in again to Good Knit Kisses for the Dewdrop Shawl. I hope you have fun. Please comment below and check out my blog on goodknitkisses.com for more information or any other additions about yarns that you could use or any changes to the shawl pattern. Thanks again. Happy looming. Bye-bye.